Hey, my Pilates people, welcome to my channel, Connect and Move. My name is Jessica. Today I have for you a core and lower body focused reformer session. This is definitely more on the intermediate side just because of a lot of kneeling that we'll be doing, kneeling and on the hands, and a lot of balance work. So, kneeling. If you need a pad, grab it. Other than that, no props are needed for today. We are actually gonna start with the foot bar all the way down. And when I say all the way down, like if you can see mine, it's a little bit above my frame. So preferably right around in this position because we will be placing our feet up here at some point. Also, one light spring. So balance body, that is a blue spring. And for everybody else, it's not your lightest, it's your next to lightest spring. So once you have your reformer set up, we're gonna start lying down. And when you lie down, I want you to be able to grab onto the end of the mat. So head might be kind of halfway on your headrest. And I want you to get a good grip. So all 10 fingers around the edge of the mat. So once you're there, let's reach back for your short loops. Wrap your fist around and then punch them up to the sky. So before you lift your legs up, I want you to feel your entire back sink heavy into the mat. Find a broad collarbone, but a slight protraction of the shoulders. Go ahead now and float one leg up, float the other leg up, and let's just pause here. So can you keep the protraction, meaning shoulder blades pulling away from one another? And can you just stay here and breathe, sinking the entire back into the mat with as little tuck of your pelvis as you can? So a lot of times when we breathe, the back arches, the ribs kind of flare. So it kind of forces you to breathe into those back ribs. All right, on your next exhale, let's go ahead and lower the arms all the way down, reach them past your hips, and then float them all the way back up, finding that slight protraction at the top. Again, arms come down, they reach, 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 and then float back up. Legs just stay hugging together. So I want you to take these first few reps and just see, is my spine changing? Pelvis is stable while the arms move through space. Now go ahead and lower the arms all the way down. Grab onto the end of the mat. And then can you now curl your head, neck, and shoulders up? Let your elbows bend to help bend your spine. Now from here, keep your chest lift. Can you send both legs out a little bit? And then drag them back in, keep your chest lifted. Stretch the legs out, think belly down, low back down, and then drag the knees all the way back in. Again, stretch the legs out, drag them back in. Last one, stretch the legs out long and away. Can you now keep your chest lift and just reach the arms forward? We let go of the mat. Just hold, hold, keep your legs out there. Bend your elbows just to 90 and then straighten the arms. Keep thinking of hollowing out your low belly and maybe curling up higher. For 2. And last one, hold here if you can. Grab back onto the end of the mat if you need. Can we lower the legs a little bit? And then lift the legs. Lower and lift. Think organs drawing down to the mat. And lift. 2 more here, hang in there. And lift. Last one, push the legs down and lift up. Go ahead and fold the knees, let go of the mat. Arms come all the way up. Fabulous. Okay, so if your headrest is up and your head is actually on the headrest, go ahead and drop it down. And then let's place your arches or your feet, depending on your platform there, on your platform. All right, so arms are long and heavy into the mat. I want you to feel this balanced weight between not just right and left foot, but also like on your foot, if that makes sense. All right, so carriage is gonna stay still. Take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, gently tilt your pelvis back. Think of closing your sits bones, and you're just gonna find the tiniest of tailbone hovers here and pause. And just hold. So your ribs should feel heavy, but it should feel like you're trying to lift your butt creases up off the mat and then roll back down. All right, let's do that again. It's a baby, baby bridge. Find that tiny tailbone hover. Hold, 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 and then roll back down. It is a very light spring, okay? That's why I'm not cueing going all the way up into bridge, okay? So arms are heavy. Roll your tailbone off the mat if you can. Good. Now keep this lift through your tailbone, weight down through your ribs. Can you press the carriage out a little bit? And then drag it back in. Go all the way into the stopper. Press it out to wherever you can, and then drag it all the way in, hit the stopper, pull it past the stopper. 2 more. You should be feeling back of the legs and butt creases here like crazy. 2. Keep that balanced weight through the feet, y'all. Drag it in, and then articulate all the way down. Okay, so let's now place your heels on your platform and the balls of your feet on your toes, or your toes on the foot bar. Okay, so I am digging my heels in and I'm wrapping my toes over the foot bar, kind of like arches on. So once again, feel that pull of the carriage into the stopper, arms pressed down, little tilt of the pelvis, little baby hover if you can, and then roll back down. It is so hard keeping that carriage in. Again, you've got to find your cheeks, otherwise your hamstrings are going to take over, and then roll back down. Again. If you can go up higher in your bridge, by all means, go for it. And then roll back down. Whoa, we got one more like this. Roll it up. Keep curling the toes, y'all. Dig your heels in. Try to pull the carriage into the stopper. Squeeze your bottom for 3, 2, 1, and then roll back down. Anybody else's toes started to do funny things? Okay, so let's now take your left arch onto your foot bar. Your right foot stays where it's at. So it's gonna feel different from right to left. Work the pull of the carriage in, press the arms down, roll the hips up to that bridge, whatever bridge you're going for. Now keep the lift of your pubic bone. Can you press the carriage out a little bit? And then drag it in. Press it out. And then dig the heel in to pull it in. You've got to think of closing your backside. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Wow, can we do one more? Hang in there, y'all. Drag it in, and then come all the way down. Okay, let's switch sides. Carriage, we start with it in as much as we can. Wrap the toes around on both right and left. Pelvis tilts back. When you're ready, we press it out. So I feel like to the normal eye, they could look at me and go, doesn't look like she's doing anything, but I am trying so hard to lift my cheeks up. Wow, that is intense. Can we do 3 more? So think heavy ribs, high pubic bone. Dig that heel in, wrap the toes around, try to find the stopper. We've got one more. Pull it in, and then all the way down. Okay, that's enough of that. So staying here on your carriage, meaning don't scoot back. We can still grab onto the end of the mat. Let's reach back and let's place your feet into the short loops. Feet into the short loops. Alrighty. So once again, arms are back down into the mat. Let's stretch your legs up to the sky and let them come back to the end of your reformer, just so we can get a deep stretch. So don't worry about the booty being heavy, just let the springs take over. Maybe you grab onto the ropes to deepen the stretch here. Maybe a little point and flex. Okay, now just find a long reach of your toes, not a crazy point, they're just reaching long. Get your booty back into the mat, ribs are heavy. Arms are also down. Let's go ahead and lower the legs down to your working angle and then float the legs right back up. So think of that lower and lift ab exercise. It's the same thing here. Only we have a little bit more assistance, so maybe the legs could go down a little bit lower. Last one. Lower the legs down to that working angle. Now find a little bit of a turnout, so a little bit of Pilates V. Still holding on to the end of the mat. Go ahead now, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Maybe the legs could lower down a little bit more. Now, the carriage is gonna stay still. Keep reaching into the straps. Let go of the mat. Reach your arms forward. Start pumping here for your 100. Inhale and exhale. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale and exhale. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale and exhale. Maybe the legs could go down a little bit lower. Chest can come up a little bit higher. So even if your head is down, you're still keeping the reach through the legs, the reach through the arms, the low ribs heavy into the mat. Could you pump the arms up a little bit higher? Maybe the legs go down a little bit lower. 2 more sets. Inhale. Hang in there with me. Exhale, 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 exhale. Inhale. And exhale, 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 exhale. Go ahead and lower all the way down. Float the legs all the way up. Lower the legs back down again. Open the legs wide. They're gonna circle around, come back up, and then lower down through center. So I want you to see how big you can make your leg circles, but how stable can you keep your spine. The higher the legs go, the heavier the tailbone gets. The next time your legs are up at your 90, we're gonna reverse. Feel that this movement's coming from the hip. 2 more here. Scrape your toes across the room. Last one. Long waist. Float the legs up. Bend your knees in. Okay. Only take your left strap off and go ahead and hang it up. Okay. So straighten your legs up to the sky. Cross your left leg over your right leg. Once again, arms are heavy, and then maybe even grab onto the end of the mat. So we're just gonna do a baby rollover to start, and then if we want to, right, we can go into the full rollover. So inner thighs are wrapping in towards one another, toes are long. You're gonna lower the legs down, and then lift them up and just see if you can find a little pelvic lift, push through the arms, and then lower back down. So we reach up into that strap, little pelvic lift, and legs lower down. You've got to use your arms here. Push into those upper arm bones. Now, if you're feeling good with this, maybe we progress. Maybe the legs go up and over. Find a stretch, and then just start to roll yourself all the way down, guide it down. Legs lower down, legs come up and over. This time, let's try to close the carriage. Can we close the carriage? Weights into your shoulders, not your neck. And then keep reaching up into the strap as you start to roll yourself all the way down, down, down. One more like this. The key is reaching up into the strap as opposed to letting your legs drop behind you. And then roll yourself down, heavy arms, space between chin and chest, all the way down. Once you find legs at 90, uncross your legs. Now the legs are more parallel. Just go ahead and lower the left leg down and then lift it up. Go ahead and lower it down and lift it up. Now, lower the leg down. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Hopefully the hair's not caught. Take your hands behind your head. Elbows are wide and slightly forward. All right. How are we doing? Just be mindful of the blocks behind you. I know they can sometimes get in the way. Carriage is not going to move. I want you to twist your upper body to the right, like you were going to bring your left armpit up to your right knee, and go ahead and bring yourself back to center.
We twist to the right. We lift that right shoulder blade up off the mat. As we come to center, float your left leg up. As we twist, the left leg lowers down. Try to curl up higher, 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 higher. And then the left leg lifts up. Now when we twist, I actually want you to grab on with your left hand to that right leg. Lots of lefts and rights. Can you try to pull yourself up deeper and higher off the mat? Now keep your chest lifted. Now take your hands behind and then come back to center. One more time. Leg lowers. We grab on. We lift to twist and then stay there. Use your muscles to stay there. Hand behind the head. Leg comes up. Everything lowers down. All right, bend the knee in. Let's do the other side. Where are we at? Where are we at? So remember, it's short loop if you have that option on the left foot. All right, so let's cross the right leg over the left leg. Let's see if I can remember all these things on this side. Again, heavy ribs. We're just gonna lower the legs down and then lift them up. Inner thighs are hugging in towards one another. And our legs, or really our toes, should be in line with the midline of the body. And then when you're ready, maybe you add that little pelvic lift and lower. And I just noticed that my legs wanted to veer off to the left. Try to keep your legs moving towards the center line of your body. And now if you're not ready for the rollover, here's something that I want really everybody to work on. Think of your legs going straight up in the beginning as opposed to immediately wanting to go back behind you. It's much harder. We try to go straight up and back down. We reach straight up. Woo, that's so much harder. And down. And then if you're going for that rollover, right, remember weight goes into your shoulders, space between chin and chest if it's available, and then keep lifting up into the strap as you roll all the way down. I love holding onto the end of the mat. I feel like it really anchors my arms and helps me get that reach. And keep working the length out through the crown of the head. So sides of the neck stay nice and long. Do one more here. Keep wrapping those inner thighs in towards one another. Maybe you close the springs on this last rep. Keep lifting the hips up off the ribs, y'all. And then roll yourself down, down, down. Get back to those heavy hips and heavy ribs. Uncross the legs here. Just go ahead and lower your right leg down and lift it up. So we keep reaching that left leg towards the end of the carriage the entire time. Now hold that leg down. Both legs are reaching. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Hands behind the head. So head stays pushing back, but chest tries to stay lifted up off the mat. We twist to the left. Keep your head in line with your midline and then back to center. So often we want to like roll off the mat. So I'm thinking of my head stretching back, right armpit coming up and over. And since you know where this is going, maybe you already want to grab on and try to deepen that twist and then play around with seeing, okay, can my muscles hold me up there? Lift, lift, lift. And remember, in that twist and lift, we're trying to get the left shoulder blade up off the mat, up off the mat. So hard. We got one more. Lift, lift, heavy tailbone, y'all. And then back to center. Awesome. Float the leg up, lower everything all the way down. Beautiful. Let's take that strap off. Hopefully we are sufficiently warm at this point. Let's now go ahead and roll you up. Hopefully we don't roll off. Okay, so now we're gonna come kneeling. So grab your pad if you need. So I'm gonna face you, so I'm gonna be on my right knee, and I'm pretty close to the end. So
It's gonna be hard either way, meaning like if you're kneeling closer to the shoulder blocks or closer to the end, it's all gonna be challenging. I'm gonna take my left foot and I'm kind of hooking it at the edge here, so I'm not completely on my platform. So let's just do this. Let's just press it out. And I want you to see, okay, how does this tension feel? All right, so once you get yourself sorted, meet me here in this kneeling position. So my left leg is straight, obviously I'm on my right knee. Now, I'm gonna try to think of right knee under hip, and then left toes facing forward. So for a lot of us, it's gonna feel like we have to turn the foot down or in. And I'm just gonna stay here for a second. I'm gonna try to iron out the front of my hip creases. So that's gonna be a little bit more length through the tailbone, a little bit more lift through the front of the hips. Okay, let's just try something. Hands behind the head again, elbows are wide and forward. Head pushes back into your hands. Could we now side bend towards that straight leg? Carriage doesn't move. Nice stretch, and then back up. Push down strongly through that bottom shin. We lift up and over, and then back up. Notice how that carriage wants to move. Up and over. Don't let that left foot move. And then back up. Now, could we go the other way? Could we side bend up and over and back up? My hip wanted to sit back, so I have to think of my right hip coming forward as I go over. Wow, that is intense. Now let's add both of them together. So I'm gonna teeter-totter, or kind of weeble wobble from left, nice stretch here, and then over to the right. So the more I side bend towards my shoulder blocks, the longer I'm thinking about that straight leg getting. Last one. Up and over, up and over. Now find just a tiny lean out to the right, just a tiny. All right, and now bend that top knee, bring the carriage in, heel will lift, and press it right back out. So can we still keep that stable bottom hip, front of the hip open? Because the more tired we get, the more the booty wants to sit back. We'll do that in a second, y'all, don't you worry. Let's do two, keep pushing through the whole shin. It'll take some weight off of your knee. Now press it out and hold. Do whatever you'd like with the arms. You're gonna sit the hips straight back, upper body leans forward, and then hinge right back up. It's almost like a hip drive or like a glute bridge at the top. We hinge back. Check your left toes, they're still facing forward, right? And then pelvis comes forward, tailbone drops, ribs pull in. And carriage stays stable. Good, hips come forward. Last one here. Hinge back. Oh, it's a nice inner thigh stretch. And then come forward, stay right here. Hands behind your head if that's available. You can always have your arms out. Find your head to hand connection. And now just lift and twist to the left. Carriage doesn't move. And then back to center. Lift and twist to the right. Hips don't move either. And back to center. Keep lifting up, 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 and back to center. 3 more reps. Lift, lift, lift. Now as we twist to the left, think of the left hip coming forward. Last one. Lift, 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 and center. Bend the knee, bring it all the way in. Okay. Let's get off our knee for just a second and now come into this Z sit position. So yes, this next one's gonna be a little bit of upper body, but I want you to really focus on making it about your center. So I'm gonna take my right hand and grab onto my long loop. So it's my right shin up against the shoulder blocks. Okay, so I'm gonna find some spring tension. So I'm not quite like all the way hands together in my hug. Now right away, I'm gonna think of my ribs drawing back and finding some protraction through this right shoulder blade, really both. I'm gonna keep the ribs drawing in, and now I'm gonna rotate towards my foot bar. Think both hips stay down to start, and then back to center. So yes, it's a heavy spring. Yes, it's some arm and chest work, but really think about this movement coming from your center. And back to center. Okay, now let's add a little lean to this. So as we rotate, I almost want you to feel like you're leaning into the strap. Lean forward, but keep your ribs in, and then back to center. Yeah, again. So that right hip can lift a little bit. Lean, and back to center. I'm starting to feel my stomach kick on a little bit more, especially when I lean. Reach. Think like side overs on the box. Now we're gonna add on, okay? So only 3 more reps here. I'm gonna twist, and now I'm gonna reach that right arm up. I'm gonna overlap my hands. I'm gonna reach my arms up to the sky, get a stretch, let the strap pull me into maybe a baby extension, and then I'm gonna let go of my hands, unravel, come back to that start position. Just find a stretch here, y'all, okay? I'm gonna twist, I'm gonna lean forward, arms reach up, they overlap, biceps to ears, baby back bend. We go up to go over, I unravel, oh, that feels good, and then back to center. Okay, last one. Keep pulling the ribs back. Arms come up, we stretch up, lift up, around and center. Oh, I love that one. Okay, let's flip around and do the other side. So we'll start kneeling and then we'll do the seated Z sit. So try to get in that similar position, meaning with the knee or the shin on your carriage as you did on the last one. And then go ahead and press the carriage out. And then something I didn't say on this foot position on the right side is ideally it's either in line with your hips or slightly in front. Slightly in front is gonna make it a little bit nicer-ish, still challenging. Okay. So let's just stay out here and find it real quick. Every side is different. Maybe look down, see, okay, where am I at? I can already feel this bottom leg is just not cooperating. Okay, so tailbone is long, front of the hip creases are opening up. Okay, hands behind the head if that's an option. Right toes, it almost feels like the right big toe knuckles looking down. Let's just side bend towards that straight leg because that feels good. And then come right back up. This side is way wobblier. I feel like the carriage is all over the place. Lift up and over. So imagine you're wearing those high-waisted pants and you're going up and over the waistband, up and over the waistband. Right leg stays strong. Wow, up and over. Keep your head to hand connection and then lift up. All right, now can we go the other way? Stretch out, 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 and then lift right back up. So now we're going in both directions. Remember, bottom hip, really both hips almost feel like they're coming forward the entire time. Wow, this side is tough. Keep pushing down through that left shin. I almost feel like I've never done it on this side. Last one. Think of pushing your head up, 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 up. Okay, so now we stay tall. We bend that top knee, bring the carriage in, and press it out. So ideally, the entire time, this knee stays right underneath the hip. And I'm gonna say, keep ironing out the front of that hip crease, because if your hips are sitting back, you will not get the work that I'm trying to get you guys to find. I want us to be in the leg and in the hip, not in our low back. Let's just do 2. I know I'm holding on to myself, but you can always keep your hands behind your head. Last one, press it out. Check those right toes. And now we hinge back, and then drive the hips forward, pubic bone forward, hip points up. Y'all gonna have to tell me, is the carriage moving as much as mine is, or are you guys like super stable? And the fun thing is with these springs is like sometimes when you give yourself a heavier spring, it's too much support. Well, it's support, but then it bullies you. So if we had a heavier spring, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'd be able to hold the carriage out here. A couple more here. And then we've got those twists. So we come up, hands behind the head if that's where you're going, and then we twist towards the foot bar. Right hip forward, and then back to center. We lift and twist to the left. So hips are super stable. And something that it's kind of helping me is pushing through that right heel that's at the edge there. Oh my goodness. Keep spiraling up, up, up. Last one, lift and twist to the right, right hip forward, and back to center, lift and twist to the left, get taller, 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 back to center, bring it all the way in. Okay, now we have that Z-sit position. If Buddha will allow me to, is that okay? He's so kind, so kind. All right, so we're trying to keep both hips down to start, just for these first couple reps. Okay, so again, find this hug a tree position, the chest and ribs drawing back, but the arms reaching around and forward. And now we're gonna rotate, 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 and then back to center. Again, I feel like it's so tempting, and I see this so often, I mean, with myself included. When I go into this twist, I want to push my chest up, but you've got to think of almost rounding in your twist. And then it simulates more of like, you know, a crunch. Last one. Okay, now we add that lean into the wind. So I'm gonna lean, lean, lean. So even though that left hip is lifting, I'm still think of it reaching away. And then I come back to that start position. I'm gonna reach, I'm gonna find length, I'm gonna lift, 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 and back to center. One more like this. Ribs pull back, arms stretch forward, forward, forward. This is tough, but I think this feels so good. So we twist towards the foot bar. I'm gonna reach the arm up, stretch up, biceps to the ears, and then let that strap pull me into a baby extension. Unravel, roll around, find start. Twist, try to use as little momentum as you can here in this rotation. Arm comes up, lift up. It's an up and over. And around. Last one. Reach up into the strap. Even here in this baby back bend, soften the ribs, and then we roll around. Ooh, we got a little pop out of that one. Okay. So, kneeling on your carriage again, facing the back of your reformer. Let's do, yeah, knees up against the shoulder blocks. I was debating for a second. Hip socket distance apart, okay? So even though knees are up against shoulder blocks, they're not shoulder width, right? They're hip socket width. So grab onto your frame. And I want you to pull yourself up, it's a light spring, to where ideally knees are under hips and hands are underneath shoulders. Now let's just stay here for a second. Check your alignment. Now, I want you to push through your shins, the tops of your feet, the tops of your ankles, and your big toes. Almost as if your knees were going to hover. Now, can you also find a little bit of protraction? Meaning chest and ribs are lifting up away from the floor. It might feel like you're rounding. And we're just gonna stay here and breathe. So, I don't know if you can hear the shake in my voice. This is that move that we did at the very beginning of this session. The arms in straps, the finding a little bit of that protraction. And we stayed there and we breathed, but keeping the whole back into the mat. So can you find a little bit of that here? Ooh, just stay here for 2. Keep lifting the chest up, sides of the neck long. Last one. Now keep pushing down through your big toes, drop your head, round your spine, pull the carriage under you. Don't slam your hands, and then unravel yourself back out to that long line. Push through your big toes more. Do not let your feet lift off. Round, scoop, round, and then lengthen back out. Do not let the ribs pop. Again, round, pubic bone to navel, center spine up to the sky, heavier big toes, and back out. It's much harder when you keep the feet down, right? Last one here, round, 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 and then stretch back out, all the way out. Take a quick moment. Okay, we're only gonna do 5 on each side here. Okay, we're gonna do a little obliques, and then we'll finish off with some hip work. Okay, go back out. Take your hands over to the left side. Okay, so I'm gonna round here, and immediately I'm gonna think of my right hip going back. I'm gonna pull myself forward a little bit, push through your big toes, in fact, all 10 toes, and now round to pull the carriage under you, and then send it back. Round, drop the head, lift, 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 and back out. It's like I'm trying to bring my left hip to my left rib. How about those feet? Are they still heavy? Round, push through both feet, both feet. It's very small. Drop the head, lift the center spine up, 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 and back out. Wow, other side. I know some of you heard me say this before. I can't tell you how many years I've done it and just letting my feet pop and just like have always been in the move going, what's happening? I don't really feel my stomach like I'm supposed to. But keeping those feet down. Whoa, okay. We shift forward. That was me procrastinating. Left hip reaches to the wall behind me, head drops, round, pull it in, and back out. Right rib to right hip. So even here, I'm working into a little bit of a protraction, y'all. Lift the chest. Push into your hands. Round. Equal weight into your shins, y'all. Round, 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 round. Got one more? Yes, we do. Lift the ribs. Lift the center spine. And then send the carriage back. Take a moment. Turn your head from right to left. Shake it out. Okay, so I'm gonna turn around so my bottom is facing you just so you can see what we're doing here. All right, so I'm coming back into this quadruped position. If you're more on the petite side, you might have more of your shin on, but I'm gonna reach for this back strap, and I'm gonna take my short loop and I'm gonna hook it around my right ankle. It's gonna go around the ankle. Okay. The closer your hands are together, the harder this is going to be. Okay? So before we move the leg, I want you to think of that lift of the ribs and that whole back into the mat sensation. Now, can I stretch my right leg out behind me and hold here? Strong flex of that right foot. Now, I'm gonna let that leg cross my body. I'm gonna let myself side bend. I'm gonna let my elbows bend. And maybe I get a little stretch here, but I'm not relaxing. And I'm gonna use my side body muscles to pull that leg back out, square myself off. Let the leg cross the body. I'm gonna let that right hip dip in towards that inner thigh. Keep flexing the foot. That leg goes out. I'm gonna let myself side bend. I don't know about you, but I'm getting a really nice stretch in that left hip as I do that side bend, that kind of hip dip. Drag the heel across the room. Now, if you're looking to make this a little bit harder, obviously you take the leg past that center line like it was gonna reach to the foot bar. But that bottom leg, bottom hip is working hard to stabilize. Check your neck, check your jaw. Last one. Send the leg out and hold here. So try to get it more in line with your hip rather than over towards the foot bar. Carriage might move a little bit. Can we lower the leg and then lift the leg? The higher you lift the leg, the higher the belly needs to get. And right now I'm thinking of the inner edge of my heel reaching to you. For 2. Last one, bend the knee, place the knee on top of your left calf. It's not resting, it's just there, okay? I'm gonna let that foot swivel towards the back end of my reformer, and then I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna swivel it over towards my foot bar. Now, if this doesn't feel good, you can always take the knee down and you can do it like this. But I'm trying my best to keep my hips stable as I do this. So as my foot swivels to the end of the reformer, there's external rotation. As it swivels towards the foot bar, there's internal rotation. And it's very important that you keep a long, flat back here. I know we want to make this move big, so please do not arch your back to make this move bigger. You have 2. Keep the foot flexed. Last one. Okay, and now let's take that strap off oh so carefully, and let's do the other side. Tell you what, that kneeling side is working very hard. Hoping to have enough room back here. Okay. Oh, this side bend stretch is gonna feel so good. And just a quick reminder, when you're going for that side bend stretch, try not to completely relax into it. I still want you to stay connected to your muscles so that way we're not relaxing and then we're kind of jerking them back in. So just try to keep everything at the party. Okay, let's get yourself sorted. Stretch this leg back. I'm gonna sweep it across. I'm gonna find that little side bend. And then it sweeps around. And my wall here is telling me that I need to keep my leg high. So yeah, I mean, ideally it stays in line with your hip. Dang, and this side feels way more awkward. Constantly be thinking about this left leg just getting super long. And whatever shin you have connected on this bottom leg, you're trying to push through it.
this bottom leg is just, is feeling things, I'll tell you that. And I can feel myself getting tired. I can feel myself using some momentum. So let's try our best not to use momentum. Can we do 2 more? Keep lifting up through your ribs, y'all. Now hold the leg back there. We're gonna lower it and lift it. Lower it and lift it. And on this side, I'm having to think of that bottom, or that left hip lowering down a little bit. I feel like it really wanted to open up. Wow, this side is heavy. Woo. For 2. Last one, bend the knee in. Okay. Still with me? We get a stretch after this. This is it, y'all. This is it. Okay. Find your strong quadruped position. And now I'm gonna rotate that foot in towards the back of the reformer. And then I'm gonna swivel that heel out. So another thing I see here is like hips really wanna move. You wanna shift weight. So even as we're like doing this swivel, I'm keeping equal weight through both shins. Wow, and I can feel my left hip on this side way more. On the other side, it was like all my non-strapped leg, but this one I can definitely feel more of that hip, because that's where I want this motion coming from. I know it feels like we're swiveling on the knee, which we are, but this is all about the thigh bone in the socket, turning, and really working internal rotation, which so many of us need. And I'll tell you what, I need it on this side. Can we do 2 more? I'm kind of counting. You know we really don't. Last one. Oh my goodness. Let's take the strap off. Carefully hang it up. Okay. So I'm gonna turn around, face my foot bar here. Foot bar is gonna come back up in your normal footwork position. So I'm gonna stay on the light spring. I might change it, but let's just stay here for now. I'm gonna take my feet up onto the foot bar. And then I'm gonna grab on wide. If this doesn't work for you, you can always take your feet down to your platform. So my feet are on, I've got some space between my feet here. And then I'm gonna slowly press the carriage out, trying to straighten my legs. Let your head drop. Think of the thighs softening towards the floor. And let's go ahead and bring the carriage in. Now, just to add on, I want you to bring your head between your knees. Think like your ears could go right between your knees. Keep your head there for as long as you can and start to press the carriage out. Keep pulling back through the ribs, up through the belly. Ooh, that stretch did it. And eventually, or maybe if you're tight like me, the head will no longer be between the knees. And maybe even try a little internal rotation. Think like kneecaps looking in, trying to touch. Maybe you prefer external rotation here. Breathe, 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 and go ahead and bring it all the way in. Okay, we're only gonna do 1 on each side for this one, so make it count. I'm gonna take my right hand on the foot bar in between my feet. I'm gonna press the carriage back, and I'm gonna reach my left arm back. Push through your feet and think of getting taller. So no round here, think of lifting, lifting, super flat back, and then bring it all the way in. Left hand on the foot bar, thinking of spiraling up. Push through your feet. Even your right foot, a little bit more. Lift, 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 and back to center. Oh,
Keep your left foot on, press the carriage out, take your right ankle over your left knee. Okay, so maybe you're fine here, or we bring the carriage in to find a figure 4 stretch. Now I can already feel this spring is too light, so I'm actually gonna put a medium spring on because I want the springs to pull me into a deeper stretch. So the heavier the spring, obviously the more work the carriage is gonna do for you, and I like that. So for balanced body, that's a red and a blue what I have on. And then you can just gently press it out. And when you come into this figure 4 stretch, play around with a super flat back, a rounded, maybe a little like, I don't know, twist, side bend. Just see where you need to go. Okay, let's go ahead and switch sides. Tell you what, my knee is just not liking that lately. If your knee is not liking that, you could always do a leg cross here. And then what I find is helpful is like letting the knees go over to the right. Yeah, it's not liking that today. Not liking that at all. All right, y'all, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed that. I got a good sweat on. I was shaking, that's for sure. So let me know what you felt, what you thought, all the things. And I really do appreciate you being here. I hope to see you again. Thanks, y'all.